Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
How are you all?
Good evening, sir.
How are you all?
Very
Fine,
good,
sir.
Fine, sir.
Okay, okay. Now, we all have met today. Do you know the reason why we're meeting today? We are meeting for the CET examination, which is going to be held for us. And we are going to write that particular examination to, secure a seat in the colleges, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are many students who have already written some competitive exams, or they must have given some Homi Bhabha exams or other exams which are conducted in the school. You must have already written and you must be familiar with it. So this particular exam will also be of the same type, but your English syllabus of standard 10. Everybody pay attention to what I say. Your English syllabus of standard 10 questions which are there behind the text, especially your vocabulary part which is there in your text. That particular vocabulary part, you have to revise it well. For example, if I tell you who is the poet, suppose if I tell you who is the poet of the poem, who is the poet of the poem where the mind is without fear? So what will be your answer to it?
Rabindranath Tagore.
Okay, fine. Now, what do I have to say? You will get an MCQ styled question there. As per you have written, some online examinations, you will get the same type of questions there, and you will have options given over there. You just have to click on an option and you have to save it as your answer. So every single student, whosoever, when you look forward for this examination and the questions into it, first children understand the question that is asked. Do not be in a hurry of answering the questions or just putting a tick mark onto. You need to look forward for reading the question carefully. Let it be a textual question from the chapters, or let it be a question from your grammar. Total, you will be asked the questions into this particular test for 25 marks. And for this 25 marks, you need to be prepared for each and every question, which is all given behind your text, that is vocabulary part. Either it is a fill in the blank, either it is match the following, or maybe a figure of speech, or maybe it might be collocation, or it might be any part of grammar. So you need to be prepared for it. And when you are preparing for this particular examination, children, you need to read your book thoroughly. Every single chapter, every single poem, and every grammar part which you have already been taught in the school previously, you have to be prepared for it. And when you are prepared, you make sure, because you will not have that much of time to think, you need to attempt many questions altogether of different subjects. And that is why you need to be very particular about what grammar questions you are solving. You should know the tips, and you should know how to immediately have the key for identifying the answers and taking up the answer immediate. And one more thing, what I would like to tell you, whenever you're writing this test, children, please see to it that you do not skip any question in between. If you do not know the question, you write it on a rough page and keep like this question you have not attempted, because later on what will happen if you're writing them all in a line, if it's an online test, if they have a condition where unless and until you click that particular question, your question won't go forward, then definitely it will be a problem. Because it so happens like you
Alan,
click that particular answer. Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Alan, sir.
Yes,
So
yes, miss.
what I came to know, it is not online. It should going to be that OMR type. You have to just circle.
Just circle. Okay. So if at all it is that particular type, you already know which particular option to be selected and how it is to be marked. And so that is why you keep a rough page next to you, so that you can just mark those questions which you haven't written. And then later on what you can do is, like, once you finish with the whole paper, you take a glance at it and you check with which questions you haven't written. Then you can utilize your time onto solving those questions which you haven't done. Children, you need to get maximum marks into these particular examinations, because every kind of mark that you get here is going to be counted for your admissions in the college. And that is why when you are particular about every question, you need to be thorough with every question. So you need to practice for it. And how are you going to practice that? Right from the basics of grammar, and that will take on to the higher parts of grammar. Now, whenever you're doing this, they may ask you any question, any type of question. They may ask you question from the textbook chapter also. They may ask you something from grammar. They may ask you something from the earlier standard also, which you must have not been so much of familiar with. Or they might give you some kind of order of words, and they may ask you identify what type of figure of speech is this. So these type of things, they will definitely give it to you in the questions out there. So for that reason, you have to be very thorough with your figures of speeches. You need to be very thorough with your simple, compound, and complex. You need to be thorough with your clauses. And every question that you write there, you need to be very, very thorough about. They may ask you fill in the blanks. They may give you 4 options there, and you have to select any one from that, and you have to mark it if it is not an online test. So these are the main objectives of this particular exam which is going to be held. Children, first and foremost, see, if at all you're making use of your textbook to go through, I would suggest you always, you have to always read the heading part, the part where the important information about the writer is given. Will you please mute? I'll give you a chance to ask me a question. Sumit, will you mute? Sumit, will you mute yourself? Okay. So what does happen here? There's information is there. What does the poem speak about? That particular topic is there. Small things like what is the rhyme scheme of the poem, whether it's a free verse or whether it is not. All these questions also can be asked. So you need to be very thorough with all these smaller questions as well. If they are giving you collocations also, you should know what exactly is a collocation and which word is collocation. You should know it to identify it. If they ask you identify the article, you should know which is the article. Now the basic thing what I want to say here is, you have already solved some papers, because we were not sure whether we are really going to have board examination or no this year. You have already solved some papers. In your first set of questions which is there, in your question paper, you have most of the questions which are arranged the following in the ascending order, or in the following the proper alphabetical order, or you have that particular question where you have to identify the sentence, or you have to just look forward for what is the error into the sentence. They might give you 3 different sentences or 4 different sentences where you have to identify the correct statement, and you have to give it over there. These type of questions can be asked. So for all these things, you require to read your textbook. So when you read the textbook, definitely there won't be any kind of hassle. You will not have any kind of fear in answering any questions into your examination. Now, first and foremost, I would like to ask you, which are the topics which you feel are very difficult, and while identifying it in an MCQ pattern, you will find it difficult. Can you tell me one so that I explain it to you? Can anybody tell me one? Any student? Any student who can tell me that one particular question which you will find it difficult to answer it into your MCQ pattern? Anybody? Any student who can ask me for? Okay, spot the error in a sentence. Now, what is the error in a sentence? See, if at all they have given you a statement which is having one or two words wrong, or one word they might give you wrong, it might not be into a proper order, or maybe that particular word might be inappropriate. What are you supposed to do? To get that particular thing correct, you need to read your textbook first. Okay, once you read your textbook, you will understand what particular word is wrong. Especially they will give you the words like verbs. They'll give you verbs, they'll give you prepositions, they'll give you an article which might be wrong. When you recorrect it, they will ask you which is the word that you're going to fix it. So A, B, C, D, they will give you, and among them there will be one particular word which is an appropriate one which you have to fix it there at that particular spot. Or maybe they will give it to you in this style. A sentence is given to you and it is inappropriate. They will give you 3 or 4 more sentences where there will be 3 sentences again which will not be the correct one, but among them one sentence will be the correct one. So you have to read those sentences properly, understand whether that particular part is given correctly or no. If that one particular statement which is wrong, immediately you spot that. They might give you a modal auxiliary word which might be wrong. They might give you a verb word which might be wrong. They might give you an article which might be a wrong one. And that is what you're going to look forward for identifying into a sentence to write the correct form of it and spot the error. Did you understand that?
Sir, can you revise us with collocations?
Yes. Now, what are collocations? Your collocations are compound adjectives or compound nouns. You know, the words that show an interdependency from one to the other. Interdependency means what? The first word will be dependent upon the second word, or the second word will be dependent upon the first word. So when you say, I spent a sleepless night. So how was the night? It was sleepless night. So night, how was it? Sleepless. So you know these two words which are there, so they show an interdependency, that is sleepless night. How was the night? It was a sleepless night. So these words or these type of words where they come or occur into a sentence, and if they are given together and they ask you to identify the collocation from it, these words where you show the words that show interdependency are to be identified. In every chapter of your textbook, in every poem of your textbook, it can be asked, because collocations can be asked both in your passages as well as your poems. So that is why they may ask you from the chapter also, and they may ask you from the poems as well. So you need to look forward for how these things are to be done. Now the easiest way is what, you know, in your textbook, every chapter, wherever the collocations are given to you in your vocabulary part in your textbook, you can you have to see to it that you make use of it and you can identify them. Okay, so every time when you look forward for these type of sentences, definitely you have to see to it that somehow or the other you're going to look forward for how the words are showing an interdependency from one to the other. They might be into a noun or they might be into an adjective form as well. So these type of sentence you need to look forward for. Second thing what I would like to tell you, Sheila Miss, would you like to share that with us? Sheila Miss is there online. Sheila Miss?
No.
Hello, Sheila Miss, are you there? Sheila Miss, are you there?
Hello.
Sheila Miss, would you like to share that particular thing with the students of ours?
Okay, I have just a PDF just showing you how grammar questions can be asked. Can I share it, sir?
Yes, you can share it. Everybody's going to pay attention, and if you have any
Now,
queries, you're going to
see,
ask.
those grammar questions may not be from the text, but similar questions they can ask you from our textbook also, related to your poem or the lesson. So read your textbooks thoroughly. Introduction part of all the poems. Because since this is the first time, all of us are a little uncertain what kind of questions can be expected. And English is for 25 marks. You have 25 marks Science 25 marks, maths 25 marks, SS. So this way they split up the 100 marks. So for the whole textbook, we have got 25 marks and there's no negative marking. That is one good thing. So I'll share that slide.
Yes, yes.
Okay. But it is shared, the message is there, only the host can share, sir.
Okay, fine. I'll share it from your.
Okay.
I'll share it from your collocations.
It's all grammar.
Okay. Have you sent it to me just now? Have you forwarded it to me?
WhatsApp, I've sent it to you.
In WhatsApp. It's
It's a
not
PDF.
getting shared, but I don't know. No, miss, it is not getting shared over here. I cannot go from this particular part to the other side.
Yeah, we'll share it later
Hello.
on. We'll put it in the group.
Okay, fine. Students, we will see to that particular part a bit later. But right now, I would like to tell you, they might give you sentences for identifying the, identifying the correct word with correct spelling, which normally are said to be as concords. Now, what is concord, over here? Suppose if I say, I want two pairs of trousers. Suppose if I say this, and that word pair, which is, they might give you PEAR slash PAIR slash on some other spelling. What you guys have to,
the correct one.
you have to, yes, you have to spot the correct one and you have to write that particular answer. So this type of things also might come in an examination for you. So you need to be very particular about which particular word are you going to make use of, because for this, students, a lot of reading is required and you should be very much familiar with each and every word, the spelling of it, because this is going to get, with this, you are going to get accurate markings for it. So that is why, you may not know what type of question they may ask. Hence, they may ask you the other questions as well. Like, you have already seen the question papers of yours, you get restructure the word into the appropriate one, or they give you a jumble word and they tell you to identify the right word. So that also they may ask you, they may give you 2-3 words out there and they may give you on top the jumble word and they may ask you identify the word. So you should know how to reframe those alphabets which are given and find out the appropriate word and then spot the correct one. I hope this will be easy for you. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now we move on to the next part. You have questions on simple, compound, and complex over here. Sentences. When you have this type of sentences, we already know, we have been learning in school, so much of theory work is done since so many number of years together. And now the time has come, like we do not have so much of time to look forward for the theory, but we have to look forward for answering the questions in an accurate manner, right? So simple sentence. What is a simple sentence? A simple sentence is that particular sentence which is consisting of the subject and a predicate of its own. First thing, if the sentence is having an ing word, definitely that is a simple sentence. But if there is a sentence which is given to you and which is consisting of two different sentences, but they are connected with the conjunction in between, at that time, that particular sentences which are combined with the conjunction in between to reframe that elaborated sentence. If you see the third part, the complex sentence is the mixture, or you can say it is the combination of two different sentences. And this particular sentence is written with a WH word, that, since, as, though, although, because, if. So these are the most probably words which are used in connecting the sentence and making it or giving it a form of a complex sentence. So you need to look forward for these keys which are there with us. How do I identify whether these keys are there with me? Am I familiar with this? Every single part of it has to be known to you. Okay. Now, those students who want to take this down, you can just write it or just write it in your notebook somewhere. Like if there is a simple sentence, you want, are you writing it? Are you writing it? Are you writing something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if it is a simple sentence, children, you write. If it's a simple sentence, you will write it as subject and predicate. And in the bracket, you will write next to it an ing. Like in a simple sentence, they might give you a sentence which is having a subject and a predicate. And they might give you one particular word which might be an ing, or they may not give an ing word also. But a simple sentence does not consist of any conjunctions, neither does it consist of any kind of subordinator. Okay, then we move on to the second sentence. The second sentence is a compound sentence. Now, what is a compound sentence? I told you, compound sentence, two sentences are connected with the conjunction. So you just write compound sentence, and in next to it you write down conjunctions. Okay, write conjunctions. Abhishek, you want something? You need something? Abhishek? Abhishek,
sir.
you want something? You want to ask me something, Abhishek?
No, sir.
You put yourself on mute, please. Thank you so much, Abhishek. So, whenever you are solving this compound sentence, you will see to it like compound sentence, it consists of compound conjunction, and you write in the bracket over the conjunction so that it becomes easy for you when you are revising it. And if it comes to complex sentence, so write complex sentence over there, and next to it write all the keys which I say, write down WH word. WH means when, where, why, how, all those WH questions, whichever you normally ask for asking a question, those are your WH words. So write WH word, comma. Have you written it? Have you written it? WH word. That. Write down that, since, as, though, THOUGH, comma, although, 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 WH word, that, since, as, though, although, because, if. Have you written it? Have you written it? Okay, so these are the words which they may give it to us in a sentence, and this, if these words are there into the sentence, you will identify it as a complex sentence. Payal More, will you put yourself on mute? Payal More.
Sorry,
Thank you so
sir.
much. It's okay. And then we move on to the next part. Now, after these sentences, we are moving on to the next part, which is said to be as your clauses. Now, this is the main part. They will give you a sentence on top, and they will ask you to identify the clause. No, but they'll give you all the clauses names, and they will ask you which clause is this. So what are you guys going to do for clauses? Say, for example, what is a clause? First of all, you should know that. So clause is what? A clause is a part of a sentence that makes complete sense, and it has a subject and a predicate of its own. So you should know, like, every time whenever I'm going to identify clause, it is like a sentence which is making complete sense, and it has a subject and a predicate. Means what? It will be a simple sentence, where in the given sentence only there will be some part of it which will be making complete sense. After that, you will see the next side, the other part of the sentence which will be given to you. It will be a sentence which is not making sense, but it will be dependent onto the first part of the sentence which is making complete sense. Now what are you guys going to do? You need to look forward for the sentence properly. First, identify the part of a sentence which is making complete sense. You know it, this is the main clause now, and the remaining is the subordinate clause. Then what you do know, you ask a question. Now for this question, these are the keys. I'm giving you the keys for identifying the clauses. So for noun clause, everybody write down. For noun clause, put an arrow mark and write down next to it what, WHAT. For noun clause, you will write next to it what. Have you written it? Have you written it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you go for adjective clause. Write down below that adjective clause, make an arrow and write down the keys that I tell you. Your keys for adjective clause are which, who, whom, whose. Which, who, whom, whose. Have you written it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
After that, you have the next one, which is said to be as an adverb clause. Now, for adverb clause, you will write when, write down when, where, when, where, why, and how. When, where, why, and how. Have you written it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now over
sir.
here, they may not ask you into the depth, but still I'm giving you. When stands for, write down, put an arrow mark for when, like this, put an arrow mark for when, and write down next to it when stands for when, write time, right? When, put an arrow mark, write time. Written?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next word is where, W-H-E-R-E. So you put an arrow mark and write place. Have you written?
Yes.
Okay, after then, when why is there, then why is there, so you put an arrow mark for why and write reason, R-E-A-S-O-N, reason. And after that you have how. So for how, you again put an arrow mark and write down condition and manner. Write down condition and manner. Okay, have you done that?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now what you have to do, you know, it is always stated like identify the clause and state its kind. So you have already identified the clause now. So to state its kind means what type of clause is it. So what you're going to do, you have to write down this particular sentence that I'm giving you. It is very important. Write it down there. Okay. Write the sentence below which I'm giving you just now. Write it as ask a question. Write down ask a question to the main clause. Ask a question to the main clause. Ask a question to the main clause and find the answer in a subordinate clause. Ask a question to the main clause and find the answer in a subordinate clause. Anju, will you switch off your mic? Anju, switch off your mic. Okay, thank you so much. Now what are you guys going to do? Now after you got these keys, now it is going to be very easy. How is it going to be easy? Suppose if I tell you, if I give you one sentence over here, say your one sentence says, which says, the man who is wearing a red t-shirt is my uncle. The man who is wearing a red t-shirt is my uncle. Now, what will I do over here? I will try to find out which is the sentence that is making complete sense without the subordinator. So I'll find that particular part of sentence. The man is my uncle. Pay attention to what I say. The man is my uncle. And then who is wearing a red shirt? That particular part, I will write it as a subordinate clause. And then I ask a question. Anju, will you switch it off? Anju? Anju, please switch off the mic. Why are you putting it on again and again? Don't put it on, please. At least wait for some time. I'll give you a chance to speak. Okay, so after you identify that sentence, now what are you going to do? Ask a question to the main clause and find the answer in the subordinate clause. So you will ask a question to the main clause now. Main clause is what? The sentence that you have identified previously. That is, the man is my uncle. So who is your uncle? So that man who is wearing a red shirt. So when I ask the question, the man is my uncle, and I ask a question as who is your uncle, at that time I immediately get a click on the keys that I've got. So who is my uncle? So that man who is wearing the red shirt. So who is the question that I ask? I get it into the keys. Who comes under adjective clause? So I will write this particular sentence as an adjective clause. Did you understand that?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. We go in for the next part. We are looking forward for the next topic of grammar, where this particular topic which is there in most of the time, they give you either in the present tense or in the past tense. Now what particular topic is this? Is active and passive voice. Now if they give you this particular sentence out there, active voice, and they look forward for you to identify the sentence, whether it is active voice or passive voice or none of the above. They may give you anything like that. So when you get this type of question also in active and passive voice, you should know, like whenever you have a sentence which is given to you an active voice, it will not consist of the word by. By is not given sometimes. And then when it is converted to the passive form, it is already written by. That means interchange of words is done and it is rewritten with the word by. So that time you should understand, like this particular sentence which is given to me is in a passive voice. But if the sentence is given to you in begin with let, and then there is no specific by given into the sentence, so what do you have to identify that as? You have to identify that as a, what type of sentence is that? If let is given, it is also a passive voice only. Why is it passive voice? Because the sentence which is already given to you might be an imperative one or it might be a command sentence, and that is why let is written in the beginning. So if a sentence is rewritten with by, it will be passive. If an imperative sentence is given to you and it is written with the beginning of let, once again it's a passive voice only. So this is the main aspect that you guys are going to keep in mind when you're solving this particular part of grammar. Then we go on to the next. Did you understand that part? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we
Yes,
go on to
sir.
the next topic. We are going on to the next topic. Suppose if they give you an easy question of identifying the noun, the adjective, the verb, and the adverb. Now the word is given to you on top, and they ask you to identify which is the adjective word for the given word. What will you do? You know, there are number of times when students, they fail to identify the appropriate adjective form of a specific word that is given to them. So what you have to do is, like, as and when you get this particular word, you have to see to it whether you know the keys of the transformation of the word building words. There are keys. Suppose if you have a noun form to be done, so you use the keyword the in the beginning. You want to write it down and take it, you take it down. If it is a noun form, you will use the keyword the in the beginning. If it is an adjective form, you will make use of to be in the beginning. If it is verb form, you will make use of to in the beginning. If it is an adverb, you already know ly is written at the last. So whenever you are identifying this type of words, at that time you need to know these keys, and so it becomes easy for you. Like suppose if they've given you a word, if they have given you the word create, 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 and in the bracket the command is given to you, like identify the noun of the word given, noun form of the word given, and they will give you options down there: creational, creativity, creation, and so on they'll give you. So what you have to do, immediately you have to make use of the keys and you have to identify, create the creation. So the creation is the appropriate word for that particular word, and you have. Did you understand that, Abhishek? Abhishek,
Yes, sir.
did you understand that what I said just now?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So you should always keep a track of this. Like every time, whenever any word is given to you for converting it to a noun form, adjective form, verb form, or adverb form, you should know like which are the keys do I have to make them applicable and rewrite the appropriate word out there. You know, why am I telling you this? Because there are many students now who are very ignorant about this. They don't want to be very serious at times when they are studying. And this is what does happen. It lands up into trouble for them. Now, the another topic which is there we are going for is your, direct and indirect speech. Sentences for direct and indirect speech will be given to you. They will give you the options as well over there. Now, how this question will be asked to you? Sentence will be given to you and they will ask you whether there is direct speech, indirect speech, in reported speech, or they will give you something else. And then you need to identify it. If the sentence is in a present tense form, if it consists of punctuation marks, definitely that sentence is considered to be as a direct speech. But when a sentence is given to you in an elaborated form, there are no punctuation marks existing into the line, and it is an elaborated sentence. Definitely, that sentence will be your indirect form, okay, or indirect speech. Now, how to identify your reported speech? In your reported speech sentence, definitely you will get the sentence in the past tense form. It will be elaborated, and your sentence will consist of a model auxiliary word. So when that model auxiliary word is given, and you will get an idea in a sentence, like the sentence is not been, be the conversation in between the two people, but rather it's a third person who has been telling about the conversation that is on in between the two people. So that is why it is said to be as a reported speech. Why? Because there is a third person who has been speaking about the other two people who have been having a conversation amongst each other. So these are the various aspects what normally we look forward for in identifying into the examinations of this kind. And 25 marks, for 25 marks they may ask you some questions from your text, some questions from your grammar, and some questions will be related to your previous year's grammar, whatever you have done. That is the basic grammar questions, whatever you have done earlier. Likewise, I told you, like, identify the word, what word is that? So jumble word, they may give you, or they may give you some structure, and they may ask you to identify. So these type of things they may ask you. Apart from that, they may ask you some, they may give you some acrostics also, and which word is to be filled in there. So they will give 2-3 words there, and they will ask you to fill it up. So this is the easiest part. But what I want to say is, no, these questions are also the tricky ones, even if it is the easier one. You need to pay attention. You do not have to be in a hurry, and you need to look forward for what am I supposed to do, and stay calm when you're answering. Don't be in a hurry. Why? Because you set your time accordingly for 25 marks. How much time are you going to take? You accordingly set it and accordingly do the papers. Now, I ask you, anybody, whosoever is having any type of query or any type of question to ask me, you can ask me and I'll answer it to you. Tell me. Anybody who can answer first or question me first? Anybody would like to ask a question to me regarding any topic? Any topic you want me to speak about the figure of speeches? I'll speak about figure of speeches to you. Do I have to speak about figure of speeches?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Hello.
that PPT can you share on the group?
The PPT. Okay, fine. I will ask Sheila Miss to share it in your class group. Do you have a class group somewhere?
Yes.
Or, okay, fine. So I will ask Sheila Miss to share it in the class group of yours. And
So
Sheila
I
Miss,
have only 10 touch group.
okay, you have only 10 page. No problem, teacher.
Or we
You
can
send.
put it in the lecture series. Let me try.
Okay, okay.
Put in the lecture series.
Okay, that can be done. Miss will put it for one particular division and she will send one for me. So what we will do is, all the English teachers will share it and we will put it onto every class group which is there of our school.
See, many of you can just go online And there are various sites which gives you grammar practice, like myenglishpages.com, where they give you the answer and the key itself. So you can practice it online. It's a, on any topic, whichever topic you like, grammar topic, you can select and keep practicing like that also.
Okay, did you all follow that, what Sheila Miss is saying?
Yes.
Miss, which side?
Miss is going to give you the site. Miss, once again, you repeat the site name. Hello, Sheila Miss.
Just revise all your topics. And maybe next time when we meet, I think next Monday again we have English. We can just have revision sort. So you prepare and be ready with maybe first 2 units you can do, or do all the grammar part. Just revise 1 week you have. So revise your English textbook and we can discuss it on 19th. We have the next session for English. English session is on 19th. So then we can again have maybe a paper solving session if you are prepared.
I think,
Exam
Miss,
will be mostly tentative date is they said end of July after your results, which is going to be declared on 15th. End of July or first week of August. It's not exact date has not yet come. So that is a tentative date. So we have time with us 2 to 3 weeks. So revise the textbooks.
Miss, when the result will be out?
Results are going to be out on 15th.
okay, now to all of you,
Ma'am,
I would like to
15th
tell
of?
you 15th of
15th
July.
of July. Refer to the news.
Okay, I would like to ask you, every single student who's there, like if at all, if at all you have any difficulty or you feel like Monday is too far and you want to know, you start practicing, suppose say from today onwards or tomorrow onwards, you start practicing English grammar. And if you come across any type of query or you do not know anything, or maybe you have some kind of thought where you're totally getting fumbled up, you can just immediately give us a call. Give me a call if at all you want me to, and I can explain it to you online over there immediately. And just give me a call or give a buzz saying like, sir, I have a difficulty in so and so. I will immediately call you back, or you call me back from there. I will solve out your question, whatever you have. Do you understand, everybody? Everybody, did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, or
Sir,
else what you
ma'am.
can do, or else the second thing what you can do is, if you feel like this particular question is difficult for me and I'm not able to follow this particular, or I'm not getting the answer for it, Monday when you have once again the English lecture, what are you guys going to do? Keep all your queries ready by marking or by writing them on the paper, and one by one you can ask the teacher who is there in the lecture also, and you can ask simultaneously me as well. I will answer your questions. Is that done?
Sir, ma'am. On what
Yeah, Anand.
basis we would get our results?
It is in the month of July itself, but maybe they have to, they must have not decided a proper appropriate date. But as and when it is coming in the news channels or it comes up in the newspapers, definitely
No,
that
sir.
particular result.
I'm not talking about the date. I'm talking about what basis. Means like how they are going to calculate our result.
They're going to calculate your result on the basis of the 9 standard performances of yours.
Okay.
So the 9 standard marks of yours, along with your internals, your assignment marks, everything is going to be calculated as per, and according to that the result is going to be prepared.
Okay,
Okay,
sir. Thank you.
anybody else who want to ask me anything apart from this?
No, sir.
Anybody has a doubt? No, you just have to write it down into your books somewhere in your notebook, and you can ask us the next time when we have a lecture, and that particular question or that particular query, whatever you have, will be immediately solved, because there are so many English teachers in our school who will be online on at that particular moment, and they can immediately solve your all the queries that you have. And if you see, the thing is, like if at all you switch over to your grammar books, definitely you'll find some type of difficulties in that, in understanding the part at this particular stage, because you're not going to read the entire theory and then do understand it. So that is why it's better you switch to some teacher and ask them, like, Miss, how this is to be done, and immediately they will give you a direct solution for it, and then you're sorted. So try to be very open. Look forward for solving each and every part of grammar that is given in the textbook of yours. Every single vocabulary part which is given in your textbook is very important for you for the CET examinations. And every student, right from the first chapter, first poem up to your last chapter, everybody should know the entire, so that you do not have any doubts, because they may ask you the question from anywhere from the text of your chapter or maybe from the poem. And that is why you need to be very much familiar with each and every part of your textbook, what you have got to study. Is that clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody has understood what did I speak just now or today at this moment? Everybody followed it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If you have still not followed it, no, I will forward some grammar topics into your groups wherever you are, the H division or whichever division, I will forward those grammar topics to you, which are made very short and given only the keys for it, so that things become more easy for you. I'll forward that to the teachers who are there in our school, so that they all will forward to your groups. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Any other query that you have, you can clarify it. But before this, you need to be prepared with your query. And I want you guys, every single student is going to find out from your textbook, from grammar part also, and from the prose part as well. Like, what are the queries that you have? You write them down onto your notebook paper. And then once this particular lecture of English begins, the next Monday, you are going to one by one, when the time is given to you, you have to ask those questions and clarify your doubts. Because if one particular student is having one doubt, maybe it might be query for many other students who are there in the group, the same query they may have. So if one particular query can solve the problems of many number of students, it would be much better. And that is why I request you all to write down all these queries what you have on one particular paper, and then we can easily discuss it, and we can ask you also, and we can look forward for getting the answers in an immediate. And you will also be confirmed with which particular topic and how that particular question is to be written. So every single topic you got to check with, every single grammar topic. See, let it be tenses also. Tenses, they seem to be easy, but sometimes they are not. You get totally fumbled. So for tenses also, you're going to look forward for all the keys and how you're going to solve it, how you're going to identify it, what type of sentence is that. It is very important. Sometimes, they ask you, identify the sentence with present perfect continuous tense, and you get totally mixed up. So present, what is present? Perfect, what is perfect? And continuous tense, what is continuous tense? So identifying that part also is very important, because they may give you a sentence and they may give you these particular options down there for identifying what kind of tense is that. So children, you need to be very particular about each and every topic that is given to you. Confirm with which topics of grammar you do not know. Don't feel shy now. You need to ask. Don't be hesitant to ask. Whichever topic you do not know, you please ask, so that immediate solution will be given to you. I will share maximum number of keys with you, and the other
CET
teachers,
के passing marks कितने?
Sheila Miss and other teachers who are there, they will also share many number of keys with you of the grammar topics. So things will be made more and more easy for you and your textual grammar. Yes, tell me. What is the, somebody is
CET
saying
के
something.
passing marks कितने?
Passing marks. See, you have to look forward for getting maximum mark. Don't say passing marks. If the question paper is out of 100 marks, okay, if the question paper is out of 100 marks, they might give 25 marks for 4 different subjects, but then you need to look forward for how are you going to secure those. So how are you going to secure those? Unless and until you're prepared for it. And don't go for negative marking, please. Your negative marking, they will not deduct your marks, but still I would say Like, don't go in for negative markings. Rather, you think about that question and you answer it later, but see to it that you mark that particular question and keep, so that you do not skip that particular question, but you write it later on as well before the time ends.
Sir, that side.
Tell me, Sanika, you want to ask me anything? Sanika?
Sir, what
Sanika?
Sir Sheila Miss was giving that side name, please.
What
It
exactly?
is www English
Okay,
pages.
site name. Okay,
Yeah.
www where? Mrs. Singh, Miss, tell them.
www.englishgrammarpages.com. This is only
Please
for
can you
grammar.
repeat? Please can
It
you
is
repeat?
not, see children, this is only for grammar part, not your English lessons are not there, only grammar topics you can do it here. Englishgrammarpages.com. Everything is in small cap. English grammar GRAMMAR pages.com. There are many sites free where you can practice online and improve your grammar. Yes, correct me.
Yes.
But you have to be very careful. Some of the sites you have to pay. So be careful. Don't just click on any of the sites. You have this online learning also. So be careful.
Yes. And those students, pay attention. Those students who are, you must have given your textbooks to some students by this time. Maybe the now 10th standard students who are there, you must have given them your books. So there is no need of you, having any kind of hassle. Rather, you can just switch over to your PDF file if you have, and you see the PDF file. In the PDF file, entire textbook is there with you. So you can see to the PDF file also, and you can do your revision work from there. And most of the time there are grammar books as well, which are free. You can switch to that as well. Idioms and phrases. You get idioms and phrases in your papers as well. So for idioms and phrases also, you can switch to a site with free sites for idiom and phrases, and you can get all those idioms and phrases. You just got to read like what exact idiom and what is the meaning of it. You just have to identify that. Aditya, will you switch off your mic? Aditya, will you switch off your mic? Aditya? Thank you, Aditya. It was very mellow. I heard it. So what does happen here is you have to look forward for every kind of topic which is there in your text. Do not miss out with any topic. Be very familiar. And if you're not, please do ask. Asking is not to feel shy about. You can immediately ask any teacher, whosoever is there. But you need to look forward for becoming perfect. You need to be very apt with every topic so that you do not have any problem in solving your papers which you are writing for the CET examination. So with this, I ask every student to look forward for, once again, I remind you once again, like every student is going to scroll your book of English and you're going to find out what queries do you have, so that next Monday when we have English lecture back again, along with Sheila Miss, the other teachers, myself, who possibly are having no doubts in any topics of grammar or maybe any topics of your vocabulary. Is that very clear, everybody? Everybody,
Yes,
did you
sir.
follow that?
Yes, sir. Sir.
I look forward for you for taking a little bit of pains, even though if it is your examination, you have to, and you must. So everybody needs to take a little bit of pain, go through your textbook and find out the things and write it down. Don't just keep it in marking, but you write it down into your notebook so that, at one time you can ask all the queries. If there are other students who are asking for queries, take a pen, like what are the different type of queries do they have, because you may come across this type of questions where you may also get held up with. So that is why every query is to be solved over here, and see to it that you do not and only then marking onto the appropriate answers. Okay. So for this time, I thank you all for being here with me. I thank you for
All the best to all of you for your results.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank all of you.
Thank you, miss.
I thank Sheila Miss for coordinating,
Thank you.
and I thank each one of you for being present here and looking forward for all the grammar topics. And I look forward for more queries from your side to be written down and kept for the next time so that we can solve our immediate queries that we have for instance. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a nice day and enjoy your studies and get back soon again. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay. Okay, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, bye, miss.
Bye, sir.
Bye and thank you so much.
Bye, sir.